Science students. My name is Kim Spangler. I am a lecturer in the PES department at Lander, the Physical Education and Exercise Science department. So I'm going to show you about 6 or 7 yoga moves that you can do. I know that a lot of you have been sitting a lot like I have trying to teach online. I know it's hard for you guys to be online all the time. So this may help you relax as well as stretch. I do focus on balance and agility and coordination a good bit too. So again, we're just going to try to warm up, and what I do to warm up is just have my feet about shoulder width apart, and I do a slight knee bend and then reach, just do some arm circles. Try to take it nice and slow until you get those joints warm, and then shoulder rolls, big circles, and then grab under your knee. Always grab under your knee, circle that ankle. Keep your back nice and flat, and then switch to the other side, circle that ankle. And then you're going to stand on one leg and swing your hip forward and back. Trying to keep those hips loose will really help your back. So your back is probably going to be a little sore from you sitting. Your body's a lot better standing and walking than it is sitting. It's not really made to sit. Now the next stretch that I'm going to do is just to keep my feet a little wider than shoulder width apart, round my back. You can do this in a chair as well. It's called the C stretch. So you're curving in and opening up your upper back and upper shoulders. And then you're going to clasp your hands behind and lift, stretching your chest. Your chest is going to get pretty tight because you're doing a lot of things like sitting on your computer typing and doing a lot of things in your forward motion. Now you're going to take one leg back behind you and then just reach. And this is a really good stretch for your side and your side of your, and then right in your hip area. And you're going to take it the other way and then reach the other way. You can also just circle your hips, keep your feet loose and your knees bent, circle them both ways. And then you can just do a slight knee bend and press outer thigh, or a knee bend, lift your knee, or a knee bend, lift your heels. Again, making sure those legs are warm before we get into the poses. So the first pose we're gonna do, we're gonna have our feet shoulder width apart, and we're gonna have a deep breath in, inhale in, and then when we go down, we're gonna do a chair pose. It's similar to a squat. Your knees are gonna be behind your shoelaces, so you're gonna be sitting back, and you're going to have your abs in, no arch in your back, and you just want to get to the point where you're really feeling it in your quadriceps and holding that position, and then you're going to come up to what we call a standing cross pose. So again, this is how your balance plays into yoga. You're going to come back down to that chair pose and hold it. You want to hold these for about 30 seconds, and then you're going to come back up to your standing cross pose. So you're rotating from a stationary to another stationary pose. Really helps with your balance. Dropping back down to chair pose. On this one, you're going to turn and open your arms up, and that's really going to stretch your lower back and your shoulders. You're going to come back to chair pose, and then you're going to do that same thing where you turn and open up those arms. And then you're going to come back and do that chair. Now the next time we come up from chair, we're going to do what's called tree pose. You're going to put your foot above your knee, turn your hip out, and then stand as tall as you possibly can. If you want to make it a little harder, you can put your arms up. You can always come back to prayer position, but you want that knee turned out. Then you're going to go back down to that chair pose. Again, hold those poses to where you really feel your quads working. And then you're going to come up, again, tree pose, turn that hip out and that knee out, and then stand with your hands in prayer position. You're going to go back down to that chair pose one more time. Arms can be here. You're going to hold them here. If it gets too hard, you can always bring them back in towards your chest. You come back up to half moon pose. Again, this is just a balancing pose. You're going to flex that foot, take most of your body to one side, then you're going to drop it back down. You're going to come up and go to the other side and hold. Flex that foot. go back down again to that chair pose. A lot of muscular endurance, a lot of balance. When you come back up this time, just cross your leg over, let your hip turn out. You're gonna drop your upper body, but keep your back flat. It's a real good stretch for your outer thigh. You're gonna flex at the hips, come up, and then hold that position with your arms up. Again, balance. Drop it back down and re-stretch that hip. And then you're gonna switch it out. So again, on the other side, you'll find one leg a little easier to balance on than the other. Usually your dominant leg, you're a little bit better at it. Bring the arms back up. And then again, drop it back down. And then bring them back up. All right, the next pose is what's called warrior, and we're gonna do warrior 1 and warrior 2. But you want a pretty wide stance, so when this knee bends, this knee is still behind your shoelaces, so it's not jutting forward. So you want a wide stance where you feel stretch in your inner thighs. You want to hold your arms out, look down the arm, and that is warrior 2. Warrior 1, you just shift the arms up, your hip turns just a little bit, and then you can go back down to warrior 2. So you're going to hold that pose. You're going to put your elbow down and reach over, again stretching that all that side by your hip. Really good stretch. And then come back up to that warrior position. Look down that arm. So from here, you're going to transition. Move your back leg in just slightly. Lift. Again, stretching the side again. And then you're going to have a triangle pose where you just slide down. You're making a triangle with your legs as well as your arms. Open that chest up. And then come forward. The next one, again, you'll go warrior on the other side. So we did warrior 2 first. Hold that for about 30 seconds. Then warrior 1, arms were above the head. Back to warrior, again, 2. Then we transitioned into, again, just resting that one arm on the thigh, coming over, bringing that back leg in, lifting it up. And then you're gonna go to that triangle pose, again, opening that chest, stretching the front leg and the hamstring, holding that. Coming back up, and you're gonna have your knees slightly bent, flat back down, and then round your back up 1 vertebrae at a time, pull in your abs, flat back down this time, and you're gonna roll one shoulder in. Really good back stretch. And then you're gonna switch it out, roll that shoulder in, and then roll it all the way up. All right, so on the floor, you're gonna get in table position here, and you want your hands right under your shoulders and your knees right under your hips. Cat-cow is when you curve up like a mad cat, and then cow is where you arch your back just slightly. So you get a good back stretch there. Use your abdominals, drop your head, let the weight of your head stretch the back of your neck, and then drop back down. All right, and then lift it up. Now your toes are gonna be under. You're gonna lift your hips up into the air and do downward dog. So again, you want your ears by your arms, and then you're gonna walk out to plank position. So on plank position, what we're trying to achieve is a straight back, and we're going to keep a straight line from our shoulders down to our heels. Now you're gonna go down, and you're gonna put your hands by your chest, inhale in, and then exhale out. That's called the cobra stretch. Inhale in, and then exhale out. So dig your toes back under. You're gonna push back up to that plank position and hold. Squeezing those glutes, just keeping your back straight. The main thing is to make sure you're breathing in and out. Again, go back down, and you're gonna have an inhale, and then an exhale, and then an inhale, and then an exhale. And then you're gonna sit back into child's pose, dropping your head This is a really comfortable pose to stretch your shoulders out. Then coming up, and we're going to transition one more time into cow and cat. So this is cat, and then cow, and then cat and cow. Dig your toes under, lift your hips up in the air, drop your head down, downward dog, walk it back out to plank position. And then roll down, put your hands right by your chest, inhale in, exhale out, inhale in, cobra stretch, exhale out. Again, widen your knees just slightly, drop down into child's pose. You can inch your fingertips out to really give your shoulders a good stretch. And then the other one I like doing for shoulders is to feed the arm under and then lift again, stretching. Hand here, and then switching it out, dropping your head and lifting the arm over your head. Going back to your plank, and you're gonna transition into just holding the plank in your elbows. If it hurts your wrist to do a plank, this is another alternative. And then dropping down. All right, so the last stretch, we're gonna flip over, and we're going to bring our knees into our chest. Press our knees out, stretching our inner thighs. Then you're gonna put your feet down, you're gonna bridge up, put your hands over your head. And then what you're gonna do is put your hands on your abs and peel your back down one vertebrae at a time. So your tailbone's the last thing that hits. You're gonna lift up, put your hands over your head, put your hands here, and then drop it back down. Okay, cross your feet at your ankles, grab in your on your shins, pull your knees in, and then switch, pull them again. And then again, inner thigh stretch. Last thing is to just reach, point your toes and your fingertips, and stretch through. And then grab under your knee, of course, and roll up. All right, thanks.